For 20 years, Moiraine has dreamed and worked towards this moment, but she can't stop the Dragon Reborn from seeing the appeal of the dark. Hello everyone, I'm Steve, and today I'll be reviewing The Wheel of Time Episode 8. So what a roller coaster journey for our characters for this season. It's been up and down. They've ended up being split up just to come back together to get split up again. So this episode begins 300 years in the past with Latra and Luz talking about the future of the Aes Sedai. So this takes place with the Dragon Reborn from 3,000 years ago. And this was cool because we get to meet that dragon. And we also get to see, when the camera pans out from them talking, a advanced civilization that was literally lost because of what the Dragon Reborn did. So this apparently has been a cycle going on for over 3,000 years. And this particular dragon thought he could get rid of the Dark One for good. And this is where the world broke, and we see that the corruption of man. Even though we don't see it on screen, but this is that time period where all that happened. So I thought that was really cool, because we really get to see just how far everything has fallen since 3,000 years ago. When we go back to present day, Rand and Moiraine walk through the Great Blight, and they end up talking about quite a few different things. And Rand ends up falling asleep and having a dream about the Dark One, and he learns a little bit about his lineage and things like that, and that the Dark One is willing to share some information with him that the Aes Sedai would never tell him. But Rand doesn't really believe him, so he wakes up. And Moiraine really kind of gets worried about his dream, as he tells her, that he talked to the Dark One in it, and he doesn't believe him, and they keep walking on. Now, this is where the writing of the show kind of goes downhill a little bit, when we get to see Nynaeve and Lan talk. And this is where, this show suffers a little bit of, from being too short, in my opinion. Because she tells Lan that Moiraine has a tell, and that's how she tracked them. But we don't get to see any of that play off on screen, which I thought was, kind of disappointing at this, and a little wrong, because she never spent any time with Moiraine, really, to figure out a tell for when she's traveling. So we don't get to see any of this where she figures this out and then follows them. And that's like the trump card for this, and that's, basically like the MacGuffin. For her, anyways. And then we get to the battle for the fortress, or basically like the last battle, as everybody's calling it. And again, this shows the writing in this episode is a little off on, a little wrong and a little off at this point too, because at first we get like a sense of danger as we find out there are dark friends in the city sabotaging things, and then we also get to see 10,000 Trollocs ready to attack from the gap, and the army goes out and gets ready to defend, but then the channelers, there's some untrained channelers that, like the sister of the emperor there, or the king, and some other ones like Nynaeve and Egwene, all come together to start putting their powers together once the gap has been overrun and the Trollocs come. And they are, super powerful when they all connect together, like we've seen in previous episodes. But Nynaeve is one of the most powerful channelers they've ever seen in 1,000 years, they've said. And this is where everything goes a little haywire for this. Now, why they would make them the last line of defense to the city is kind of odd, because you would kind of want them, up front to be able to maybe block the gap off, and destroy the mountains on the sides to have it come crashing down so the Trollocs can't get in. That's what I would have done personally, but I understand, they also were trying to write it so they can show some stuff. But this is where, again, things take a turn for bad, because they take away like any sense of danger, or like mortality, for this, lack of a better word, because Nynaeve's healing powers are so great that they eliminate the worry about like any kind of death in this. Once you see that part, you'll understand what I'm talking about, because it's a little weird, because what happened shouldn't have happened, that I know of. Again, I haven't read the books, and I know they have changed up quite a bit of this as well from the books. So that's where the show really kind of goes a little astray, because it's basically plot armor to continue to use the characters that they've established so far. And this episode ends with Padan Fain, the peddler that was always going to the two rivers, telling Perrin that they all have a part to play in this story and that they're not done yet. But then we also get a scene after that as well of the far western shore, I believe it was, and a little girl looking out in the water and seeing like hundreds of ships coming in. So we get a kind of a setup for next season, as well as a finale for this one. Now, the battle at the fortress looked actually really good. I did like the gap where the king and everybody were shooting the Trollocs and things like that, trying to stop them from coming through. And then the channelers conjuring a giant lightning storm to destroy them all. So like I believe it was 5 channelers that are untrained literally took out like, say, 9,500 to 9,000 Trollocs. What could a trained squad of Aes Sedai do? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's at that point I was kind of like, what? I was like that, But then when the things go awry with and Nynaeve and everything and happens, you're kind of like, huh? But the 2 dreams that Rand has with the Dark One were actually kind of cool. We get one in the Great Blight where he talks to him, and then we get one in the Eye of the World where he sees a version of the world he could have. And this is where he kind of learns about channeling a little bit from the Dark One, so I thought that was actually kind of cool. And the acting, I thought, was actually good in this. I did like the Dark One in this, because he was trying to tell the truth, but in a manipulative kind of way, to get Rand to trust him and help him out. And we see, like, the consequences of that at the end, too, which I thought was kind of cool. But, this season finale wasn't really bad. It wasn't great per se either, because of some of the plot holes they had and like the plot armor they used. But this does show the consequences of all the decisions made up until this point, and that even like a well-laid plan can still go wrong, especially if you don't take care of certain things. But also it shows that this show, again, suffers from being a little too short, in my opinion, again, where there's a lot of things that happen off screen that we only get told. So we needed those episodes to show us these things that they're talking about, especially in this season finale. Again, with Nynaeve being able to track Moiraine because of a tell. We never see what the tell is. We never learn what the tell is. They just talk about it. Kind of wonky, kind of weird and wonky, in my opinion. But, again, this should have all been shown on screen. Would have been a lot better. Plus, it would have set up the world a lot better. Plus, not having to worry about deaths at this point, takes away from that sense of danger. That sense of, being, having real consequences for your actions type thing. So it was really kind of interesting what they're doing with the main characters, in this. Uh, and again, we get to see the five friends are separated again. So, where are we going to come in next season? We, obviously don't know. I am looking forward to next season. Hopefully, the writing will get a little bit better. We'll be able to have a little bit more shown on screen and less plot holes in it, per se, and less plot armor. Overall, I would give this episode a 7 out of 10. Again, not the best season finale that I've seen out of a show, but not the worst either. I did enjoy this episode. At the end, I was kind of like, oh, I really can't wait to see the next season. Overall, for the season, I would give it I would have to say about a 7.5, 8 out of 10. Again, there was a lot of world building. Some of the episodes, quite a few of them were actually slower paced, which is fine again, but again, you need more episodes in order to cover things like that and have action in it too. You can't just have all plot based and and little action spread here and there, because you don't get to keep people watching that way. Again, that's my opinion. I've tuned out of shows that I was just like, oh, it's just a lot of talking, like like Loki and stuff. Yeah. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought about this season finale. Let me know what you thought about this season. If you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and subscribe. Take care for now, everyone.